What's up, girl gang? Welcome back for another episode of the Girls Room. I got my little co-host here. You can't see her, but she was just all on top of me. My big actress. Every time I'm getting ready to leave the house, or anytime I'm getting ready, she thinks I'm leaving the house, and she puts on this big show. Hello. She puts on this big show, and she gets so upset, and she thinks I'm leaving, but I'm not. You want to say hi? Don't eat my makeup. I'm not going anywhere. She's my big girl. Like, is she kidding me right now with this? It really doesn't get any better than dogs. Hi. Hello. She can hang out like this for as long as she wants.
Wake up. It's the first of the month.
So far, having a pretty good week. I can't take her seriously with this face. Like, I really can. Having a good week so far, and I am really excited to be filming this episode. I feel like I'm always excited to be filming, and I say that a lot, but I just like showing my gratitude because I now have 131 subscribers, which is so exciting, and 60 on Spotify. And I mean, it was 0 once, right? So that's like incredible, and I'm just like in awe that people give a shit about anything that I have to say. So if you're new, welcome to my page, my channel, my podcast. If you're new, welcome to my podcast. And if you've been here, thank you for being here. She's sick of me talking. You want to go back down? Thanks for being here. I really appreciate all of you. I have so many hopes and dreams for this podcast that if they came into fruition, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So I'm constantly trying to align myself in that energy where I'm truly like delusional. I really can see myself like doing this, you know, like really doing it. And I think you need a little bit of that delusion just to get by every day. And if you have big dreams, you definitely need it. So I think it's important to have. And if you don't have any, you can take a little bit of mine, because everybody is allowed to be a dreamer and go after the things that they want. And that's really what the Girls Room is all about, right? We're just here making shit happen, doing hard things, and simply just trying to be a better version of ourselves every single day, and remembering that progress isn't linear. So if that's something that you needed to hear, I'm here to say it. I learned about something really interesting recently, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's relevant and I thought it would be interesting to talk about. So if you're one of those people, which I definitely used to be really, really bad with it, and now I'm way better, but if you're one of those people apparently that feels the need to tell everyone what's going on in your life, not even what's going on, but like if you have a hard time making decisions, or you just need to tell someone what you're doing because you need them to validate your decision, and you need them to tell you that you're doing the right thing, and you have to like, you have this urge like, oh my God, I gotta tell like XYZ, this person, that person, this person, whatever. That is like a real thing. And so it's complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's a mental health condition that can develop from chronic or reoccurring traumatic events closely related to PTSD and borderline personality disorder. Emotional dysregulation, negative self-belief, avoidance, hypervigilance, and flashbacks, which is very interesting for me because I have been having really crazy flashbacks. I don't think that I identify with all of this. This is honestly something that I saw on TikTok and just kind of wanted to dive into a little bit more because I thought it was interesting. But the hypervigilance part is excessive attention to the possibility of danger, which I don't relate with that either. So I think pieces of this can be true. It says you can develop it if you experience chronic long-term trauma. It involves stress responses such as anxiety, having flashbacks or nightmares, avoiding situations, places and other things related to the traumatic event. So I'm not really sure like how deep this goes, obviously, but I definitely resonate with a lot of it. And I'm going to piggyback off my episode last week where I talked about how I'm going through something within my family and I need to cut ties with that person. And I have been having really insane flashbacks at night where I feel like I am reliving certain things that I have gone through many years ago, like in my teens, even as a kid. And it's so weird because it comes back in this like wave and I start crying. Like it'll be like 11 p.m. Amanda will be sleeping. I'll be laying in bed and I will all of a sudden just have this crazy flashback and it will feel like so real. And Amanda will be sleeping and it's crazy because I told her this was happening to me. And I said, I feel like it's almost part of like this grieving process that I'm going through. And, grieving someone that's still alive, I think is even maybe harder than grieving someone that's passed. I don't know. I guess it's situational. But when I touch Amanda, like when I'm having these flashbacks and I like literally like touch her, like put my hands on her, they go away. And I feel like a calm. And I'm like, that's how I know that this is like my person. Like 110%. There's no doubt about it. Like I literally feel this calmness. I will like hug her while she's sleeping when this is happening because I don't want to wake her up and she'll just kind of like grab my arm and it stops. But I've been allowing myself to kind of relive these experiences because I think that it's a part of the healing and grieving process that I need to go through during this season of my life where I'm grieving. So I am letting myself feel all of the feels. This that I saw on TikTok, like the video about this was way oversimplified, especially when I'm reading the actual like things that are tied to it. The girl that was saying the video was kind of just like, if you need constant validation or you need to constantly ask someone about your decisions, like you could have a form of CPTSD. And I did have that for a long time where I would seek this validation from either my friends or people around me. And I feel like people are surprised when I say that because I have such a strong personality. But if you're like one of my really best friends, you know that I could be that way. And I've been working on it because sometimes I'll make a decision and I'm like, that's it, that's what I'm doing. And then I like spiral that I'm not making the right decision. And I think that's normal for people to do. But now I'm trying to like live in my power and say, like, girl, your intuition has literally never steered you wrong ever in your entire life. It's never been wrong. And sometimes if you are wrong and you do make a wrong decision, that's part of like your learning process, right? So you do that and you're not always going to be right. It's okay to fall. It's okay to fall on your face. You're going to get back up again. It's totally fine. It's part of life. It's how you experience. It's how you learn. Lived experience is how we become the people that we're becoming. So I think it's super important to make those mistakes and then be okay with them after, as long as you're not, well, everybody does things sometimes that maybe they hurt people and they didn't mean to. It's part of life. So I just thought that this was really interesting. And, I feel like the negative self beliefs, which it says feeling worthlessness, shame, guilt, or failure for the wrong reasons, um, difficult connecting with others, avoidance, and the flashbacks, those were really the ones that stood out for me. The negative self beliefs is obviously like a common thing, but when you feel like worthless because you feel like there's like something wrong with you or that you're doing something wrong, I feel like it's like a different level of negative self belief. It's not just like, I'm ugly today or whatever. It's more of like, you're tying now your worth to something outside of yourself, which I've talked about before. And it's a constant thing of like reeling it back in, thing outside of myself. So it's not financial, it's not what I can do for people. None of that is what makes me worthy as a person, right? And the shame and guilt or failure, that for me has always come from an outside source, me feeling those things. Truthfully, I don't actually feel, ashamed or guilt about myself or the decisions that I've made. It's more of when I think of like, who did I disappoint, or I'm a disappointment. And that really just comes from other people, right? Me saying last week that acceptance or looking for acceptance is a scam, the way that I feel closure is, this kind of all ties into that, right? Because you need to accept yourself. What do we always say? You can't love anybody unless you love yourself. All the acceptance that you ever need will come from you. It's really nice to have the support, but I think it's really important to be self aware and know the things that you need to work on. I know that I need to validate myself more. I know that I can't tie my worthiness to anything outside of me because it's unrealistic and it's unstable, right? If I'm relying on someone else to give me that, it's all dependent on another person. It's the same way I felt about doing hair. My paycheck is dependent on you showing up, sitting in my chair, and paying me and tipping me, right? So my livelihood is dependent on someone else coming to get this service done. You can look at validation and worthiness and all of that in the same way. Confidence, all of these things, the way you value yourself, if it's constantly coming from someone um, basically stroking your ego, giving you compliments, telling you you're doing the right thing, patting you on the back, like you're gonna always be looking for it elsewhere. And that's just a recipe for disaster, because the minute you disappoint that one person that gives you all of this, where are you? Who are you? Now you're standing there alone and you don't know who you are, and you can't identify who you are because it's not up to you, right? So I think all of this ties into really taking power and control of your own life and everything that that entails: your confidence, your self-worth, your respect for yourself, your what you value. All of these things have to come from you, and you really have to learn yourself. And learning yourself can be like sometimes a little scary. You got to get deep with the deepest parts of yourself, and you also need to learn when is the right time to shed, and when that old version of you doesn't serve you, and when you need to step into this next version. And it's such a process. For me, this process has been legitimately almost like it's been 4 years of me shedding a skin that I am still shedding. And a lot of it is because I gave myself the pushback. Like I was the one being like, no, 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 no. Wait. Hold up. You're not ready yet. You're not ready. And now I'm like, I am ready to be this next version. I am so fucking ready. I don't want to feel like that little girl anymore. I don't want to live in past experiences. I don't want to live in the past period. I don't want to live in past pain, past hurt, past trauma, past betrayal. I don't want to live in any of that anymore. And I'm like releasing it. And I think saying it out loud helps. So this is always therapeutic to do it. And hopefully someone else finds this helpful. And I hope it can be helpful in the way that you can start pinpointing things about yourself that maybe you didn't see, because self-awareness is learned and or can be learned, and I feel like a lot of people don't have it. So maybe hearing the things that bother me or the things that I'm working on can help you start to look inward and see the things that you need to work on. Because sometimes it's hard to see yourself from an outside scope. Not everybody can like have this bird's eye view on their own life. That's like a really hard thing to do. And I don't always have it either. Sometimes I'm too far into something that I can't even see outside of it whatsoever. So I thought that that would be really interesting to talk about today, and I just wanted to share like my viewpoint on it. And I would love to know if you guys feel similar. I think that in the age of social media, the validation factor is like a huge thing. There's so much instant gratification, instant validation, that sometimes it's like hard to break away from that. So put the phone down get off social media, and I'm talking to myself too right now. Get off social media, go outside, touch grass. I've been doing a 1 hour walk. Well, I won't say I've been doing, I did it once yesterday, and I'm gonna do it after this. Get outside, let the sun touch your face. I know we hear sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. Yes, put your sunscreen on. But when you first wake up for that first hour of the day or for the first 15 minutes, let the sun hit your face, get that vitamin D, let just let yourself be in nature. Go for that walk, especially if you have a dog. They're gonna love it. She is like really all up in this episode. Go outside with your dog, take them out. They love it. Take them for a nice walk and just let yourself absorb that. We don't get enough of that. People don't get enough outdoors, anything. So experience that and give yourself a breather. Take a break from social media, read a book, and just know that you are enough. You are worthy, and you are the only one that gets to decide if you're worthy and if you are enough. Nobody else. But if nobody told you that you are, I just did. This week's episode is going to be a little bit on the shorter side because I just had to stop. I had therapy and I have a bunch of work to do. So I just wanted to briefly touch on that topic. I can totally elaborate if anybody wants to talk about it further. But I will end with my high and low of the week. She is like, you're not filming without me today. So my low of the week, I like to start with my low so that we end on a high. So my low of the week, let me think. I don't know. I'm having a pretty good week. It's only Wednesday, so there's time. But I'm having a pretty good week so far. I think like my lows are just like regular shit that people go through, like PMSing a little bit. And yeah, nothing too crazy. So that's my low of the week. And my high of the week is actually today's my dad's birthday. Shout out Miles, my dad. Happy birthday, Dad, even though this will come out on Sunday. Thank God he was born, would be lost without him. So I mean, it doesn't really get higher than like that, I think. So that's my high of the week. Still on this engagement high. Still so happy. Still really excited. Still celebrating with friends and rude. Rude. Still celebrating with friends and riding this wave. And yeah, I'm really excited about what's to come. Like I said, I'm just aligning myself with all the things that I want, remembering that I deserve them because I'm working for them and giving myself a little bit of grace. So that's the lesson here. Remember, you are responsible for validating you, and you got to love you more than anything. And there's a lot to love. So make sure you love yourself. And I will see you guys next week. Please, as always, please, this email is so fucking dry. I'll pay you to send me an email at this point. $1. If you have questions, problems, concerns, anything you want to share, stories, it can be anonymous, not anonymous, just let me know in the email. And I will be happy to help you with your problem, to share your story, to answer your question, all of it. The email is tgrpod.nyc@gmail.com. And please follow me on Instagram. It's _ at the Girls Room Podcast. And you can, in my link tree, find my TikTok and all the things there. So yeah, I would love to hear from you guys, and I will see you next week. If you have any topics you want me to talk about, you can send that in too. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. We'll do a little Gen Z heart. By the way, I think I need to talk about I love Gen Z, and I need to talk about why. So maybe I'll talk about that next week. But anyway, I gotta go. Got a busy day ahead of me. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.